Hey everyone, Disappointed Giant here. Welcome to another long play. We're actually doing another survival run here. But before we start, hope you're doing good, hope you're doing fine, hope you're playing Dead Cells, because this game is awesome. I just want to give a shout out. That's Daniel's intro. He just hit 1 million views on YouTube. So I had to give him a shout out. If you haven't watched Daniel's videos, they're unbelievable. Love his videos, love that dude. I'm going to put a link to his channel in the description if you haven't seen any of this stuff yet, but he's great. Philosopher's Stone, also great, by the way. We got, I think this is the second Philosopher's Stone that I've gotten during a run, maybe in like the past like 2 or 3 months. And I'm not playing a ton of Dead Cells, right? I'm not like Raffle, who's playing Balatro for 7 hours a day and you get all this crazy lucky stuff. So this is, that's unbelievable. That's super unbelievable. But back to Daniel real quick. Dude, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you, man. Here's to another million, brother. Here's to another million. But anyways, welcome everyone. Thanks for checking this out. So, like I mentioned, you know, we're doing another survival run. We're picking up a double survival necklace there, which is sweet. The last video that I had put out was a survival run, and initially it was going to be a broadsword run that was requested, and we did it. We got ourselves bookenders. Oh, geez, I'm getting destroyed here. We had broadsword bookends, where the beginning and the end of the video had broadsword in it, and then the middle kind of went a little bit, and by a little bit, that's a huge bonk. And by a little bit, I actually mean a lot of it. The middle of the run turned into a tactics run with triple cross and double boys axe, so not exactly survival. So I had recorded this footage before I recorded that run. I wasn't too happy with it. I did forget that got the Philosopher's Stone, so I'm glad I actually am taking the time to do this now, right? That's so sick. But I had recorded the footage, wasn't too stoked about it. Pretty sure we did not get a broadsword in this run, so I just kind of shelved it, and I figured let's do these both back to back. So my original thought, and I mentioned this in the fake survival video, if you want to call it that, was that I had got some footage and I was like, yeah, maybe we'll put it out, maybe not. I'll do it at some point. And I figured, like, let's bang this out sometime down the road, right? Yeah. I remember that. I remember having so much money, I went to recycle the broadsword and then, the bloodsword, and then decided against it because it was not worth the quarter of a second it would have taken me to go back and recycle it. That's so funny. But my initial plan was to say, hey, let's spread these out, right? And just so that way there's a little bit more variety in the long plays, right? Just kind of like spice things up for the channel so it's not all the same stuff back to back. But I figured let's do it. Let's put both back to back so that way if anyone's interested, you can go back and you can see the difference, right? You can see the difference between more of a quote-unquote traditional survival run or the survival run that kind of went off the rails a little bit. I guess the good news is if you are interested in checking both of those out, or if you've checked the first one out and want to see this one here, they're both kind of like interesting, sort of like reflections on build adaptability, right? I mean, when the game throws you a legendary cross, you normally take it. If you already have a boy's axe, you normally take both of those and take ammo. Even if you do have something like this, you got Alucard's sword, you get toothpick, whatever it is. For me, it's worth making that shift. So checking out both of these videos, I don't know, might be helpful, might be fun for you. The other thing too is I know there's a lot of folks that actually do lean into normal, quote unquote, normal survival stuff. You know, the shield, heavy weapons, necromancy, parrying, all of those things. So this one might be fun. This one might be fun for you folks as well. So again, thanks for clicking, thanks for clicking in, thanks for taking the time to chill, and let's see how things go. Let's kind of get this underway here. So I grabbed toothpick out of the tubes. That was the heaviest weapon that I saw there, so I figured, of course, that'd be a great way to start the run, since that's kind of what we're leaning towards. And I haven't been doing great with it. I haven't been doing very well with it. So I think if we look at my health, yeah, I'm at 58. I was at 43, 44% before I ate those cherries in the prisoner's quarters. So due to both the speed of the weapon and also my lack of experience with it, right? Because like I mentioned, and like a lot of you folks know, this is not my normal style of gameplay, so I don't have as many hours or as many runs with toothpick as I do with, I don't know, Alucard sword, right? Blood sword, infantry bow, take your pick. So the gameplay up to this point has been a little rough. I'm not super proud of it, but it's part of the journey, right? It's part of the journey. So we have ourselves not great health. You can see here we're at 41%. And we're also in a curse biome too, so we're going to be there's going to be a couple of precarious situations that we are likely going to get ourselves into. Got a couple sore losers here, so our curse count is up to 5. And we also have 5 stats in, yeah, there you go, stuff like that. We have 5 stats in survival right now, so our HP spread is not great yet. It's not great yet. So we're looking at, you know, if we were to pick up a brutality scroll, I think the percentage on a new brutality scroll is 60. Oh, there we go. Big hit again. I think it's 65%, and I believe tactics is 50% or something. So I think I'm going to recycle that, right? Yeah. So even though survival does have the highest HP over time, right? You're going to get the most HP out of your scrolls. You're going to get the most HP as the run goes on. Not having any stats in another color just to get that extra early bump of health, it can be a little rough. And again, you know, using a weapon that I'm not super familiar with or that I don't normally take the time to play around with, or another close call there, to play around with or experience can make things even more challenging. But you may notice we do have ourselves a good dual stat, or I should say a health dual stat on the map. It looks like when I was playing this I missed it, so gonna go back for that at some point. I think right here at some point I do take another large hit. I remember that I healed at some point in the first biome, or I should say in the first non-prisoners quarters biome, which I guess technically is the second biome, right? And another health related thing is I did not take any survival mutations that restore health. So there's a few of them, right? Or I should say there's a couple of them. Necromancy, yeah, there we go. There's the heal there. Even though I'm cursed, I just wanted to make sure that we got ourselves cleaned up. Necromancy, fan favorite, right? You get healed for every kill based on a couple of factors here. So based on the amount of health that you have left, the amount of health that the enemy has as a baseline, so both of those things together. So it's not like it's a flat number or a steady percentage that you're going to get healed, because again, depending on what things look like for your own health. So if you have lower health, the amount of healing that you're going to get from necromancy is higher, and if you have higher health, the amount of healing you're going to get is lower. So that way you can't just jack up at 100%. You can't just get completely loaded up with healing for basically no, you know, there's no real downside to it. Back in the old days, I think they changed it in version 1.9. maybe, right? Because I know 1.8 had it, but back in the day, there was no cap on necromancy, and there was no variance in your healing, so you could get whatever it was, 2.8%, 2.5, 3%, whatever it was. You could get that healing with every kill, so to top off was so easy. So Necro's a fan favorite. Again, you know, I think it's an excellent mutation. I would classify it as like a S tier. You know, if we're tier listing here, I'd classify it as S. The only downside, I would say, is that early on, because it scrolls with the amount, or I should say because it scales with the amount of scrolls that you have, early on you don't really have enough scrolls to make it worth the, I think I'm going to take this here over tonic, right? Yeah. At least from my perspective, it doesn't make it worth taking this early, because your healing is going to be so small, right? So for me, if you are taking survival and you do want to have some sort of healing as a backup, What Doesn't Kill Me is a better choice, in my opinion. You're going to get, I think it starts at 2.2% per parry, so you parry like, whatever, 5 enemies, you're going to get 10% of your health back. It scales really well, it scales very quickly, so by endgame, you're going to have, I think it goes up to 6% health restoration per parry, which is out of control. But for early, if you have a shield and you are into the parry game, then What Doesn't Kill Me is definitely a better choice for Necro. And then I think maybe as the game goes on, Necro might be a little bit of a better choice than What Doesn't Kill Me, but they're both excellent. But I decided not to take either of those. Since we are coming into a cursed biome, and I did get that Philosopher's Stone so early, I didn't want to lose this run. Again, after reviewing the footage when I first recorded this, I wasn't super stoked about it. But it's actually like as I'm going through this again, and after I kind of took a look back at the video before I actually started recording commentary, I think it's decent. I think it turned out pretty decent here. If I'm remembering correctly, we also get some good luck and some pretty hefty off-color scrolls for HP too, but that will remain to be seen. But instead of health restoration, I took Damn Vigor, right? So Damn Vigor is a excellent, I say excellent, it's busted. It is capital B busted. It is a mutation that you get from, it's actually from the Sore Losers, so those little purple guys that I killed and gotten 3 curse from. It's a 10% drop. I think it's either a 10 or 100% drop from them. I can't remember. They're in cursed biomes, of course. But if you're playing at below 2BC, so if you're on default difficulty or on 1BC, you're not going to see cursed biomes. So those don't actually come in until 2BC. So if you don't have that mutation, you're earlier on in your journey in your save file. That's why. But Damn Vigor is so good. It's so good. If you end up taking a fatal hit, doesn't matter if it's a curse, right? Doesn't matter if it's a curse. Doesn't matter if you just run out of health, whatever it is. You have 2 seconds to kill another enemy or kill an enemy, and then you get revived. The original plan for this, my understanding is, and I think we're just going to bounce here, right? We got the food, or I should say we have our health. We got the 60. Yeah, we're just going to jet. We're going to hit the road. The original plan for Vigor, my understanding is that it was going to bring you down to 1 HP. So that way it would bring you back to life, and you'd still have to find some way to get your health back, right? Again, maybe it's food, maybe it's What Doesn't Kill Me, maybe it's whatever, right? Maybe you're playing brutality and you're using frenzy. I don't know, however it is, but the recovery mechanic, right, which is that orange part of your health bar where once you get hit, there is a chance where if you were to attack an enemy, you get some of that health back as the bar sort of ticks down. Because this version of the game never was fully completed, Damn Vigor is in a state where you can get recovery. So what happens is you get knocked down to 1 HP, but if you still have some of that recovery bar, you can get your health back, which means Damn Vigor can then proc again and again. So it is super busted. It is so busted. Disengagement is an excellent mutation. I've mentioned before, if you're just trying to get some wins and sort of have like a really well-balanced mutation selection, I call it the Holy Trinity. It's disengagement, gas, so that will protect you from a non-cursed death as long as you have more than, I think it's more than 15% health. You have gastronomy, which will jack up the amount of healing by 85% that you get out of food. And then you get masochist, which is a mutation that will reduce trap damage to 10%. So that all of those will help. But if you're in a biome, regardless of whether it's cursed or not, if you're looking for death prevention, you can't beat Damn Vigor. Damn Vigor is fantastic. It's better than disengagement because it can proc more than once per biome. It doesn't matter how much health you have. So if you have, or I should say, we're gonna grab the heavy crossbow here. So we're gonna do a little switcheroo. We'll do a little switcheroo away from the toothpick. I like heavy crossbow, so we'll talk a little bit about the difference here between melee, heavy survival, and ranged in a bit. But as long as you have more than 1 HP, is my understanding. Damn Vigor can proc over and over and over again, so it's super powerful. If you're looking for death protection, death prevention against bosses, disengagement is usually the way to go, with the exception of maybe Conjunctivius with the tentacles, but other than that, you're going to want to take disengagement. But that's why I grabbed Damn Vigor. I grabbed Damn Vigor. I was like, just in case, you know, my health management was not great. I was taking a bunch of hits, as we saw with the toothpick, so I figured that that was a good choice. And then I grabbed Necromancy for the second mutation there. So I already talked a lot about Necromancy. We're up to 9 scrolls in survival, so it's a little bit more of a increase in health. Let's see. So we got, yeah, you can still see there it was only maybe like 9% health recovery yet or something like that, but oh, this is not good. Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal. I think there is dirty big food. Oh my god, there's dirty big food on the map. I think we're gonna head down and grab that. So we got ourselves Damn Vigor, right? I just explained for 27 minutes why that's a great mutation. And we took Necromancy, and along the way we picked up a heavy crossbow, right? So heavy crossbow, we have ourselves a two-handed. Normally it's survival and tactics. It's only showing survival here, of course, because we have a legendary version of it. Two-handed, so the first attack, or I should say the main attack, is, you know, it shoots out a volley of arrows. There's like this little hook that kind of comes in that pulls, you just saw it there, the hook pulls enemies in. I think it roots or stuns them or locks them. I don't know exactly which status it is. I think it's root. But whatever it is, it pauses them for a brief amount of time, so that way you can get that volley of arrows out. The second slot, we have, if you look there, it's got like a little circle symbol on it, a little bit of a recycle symbol, whatever you want to say there. That's a reload function. So what happens is it doesn't just reload your volley so that way you can shoot again. It gives you the opportunity to have a fully loaded quiver that will critical on enemies. So basically what we're doing here is you want to, in general, you can just use it, right? That looked pretty good. But for the gameplay loop here, what you're looking for is you want to reload and then hit an enemy so that way, or shoot an enemy so that way you get all of that extra critical damage. Repeat, right? Kill Rhythm is a great mutation for that. I think I may take Kill Rhythm as we go into Ancient Sewers here. I'm not 100% positive, but I think. But on that survival build, right, Kill Rhythm is going to alternate. As you alternate your attacks, they're both going to come up faster. So you're going to shoot faster, you're going to reload faster, and it's just like this nice little loop, right? It both sides feed into each other. I think that's what we're going to do. I'm thinking, yeah. So we rolled Damn Vigor off, got out of that curse biome, feeling more confident now that I have Necro. So we took Acrobat Pack, right? So we can parry with our Assault Shield, I think is what we have in the backpack. I'm pretty sure. Let's take a peek here. I think it was Assault Shield. Yeah, so we're gonna parry with the Assault Shield in the backpack, but also kept our Necro, and then we got Kill Rhythm, so that way, as we alternate our heavy crossbow attacks, it's back to back. We're gonna both, like I just said, we're gonna have faster reloads, and we're gonna have faster attacks, which is important because it is a heavy. It's a heavy weapon. It can be a little bit slow. So Kill Rhythm helps a lot. There we go. Oh, we got ourselves another challenge rift. I feel like we get maybe like 3 or 4 of those, which is fantastic. Yeah, so we're already looking at 3 or 4 extra scrolls, which is wild. It's wild. Go us. And we got an amulet that has 2 in survival, which is great for our DPS. We have another health scroll in brutality, and it has 2 jumps. So this, at this point in the game, this is a great amulet to take. It's just, I love double jumps, triple jumps. I could have used one there. I also could have used one there. But it's good. We got ourselves a good amulet. We banged out of the challenge rift. Normally, I like to save those until later in the biome, maybe after we get the 60 door or after Explorer's Instinct pops, so that way we can see the challenge rift on the map. Like once we go in, we can see the layout of the challenge rift before we start going in there. But at this point, I wanted the extra scroll. I had lost the 60 or was really close to whatever it was, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wasn't worth the kill count, so I just wanted to pop in there and get the scroll earlier, so that way we could do some good work here. If you were to take the... Oh, look at all these bats. It's like a bat colony in here. This is this is brutal. I feel like there's a couple of biomes. The Ancient Sewers here, as you can see, and also Slumbering Sanctuary. There's like a bat surplus sometimes where they just group bats together in these really tight little colonies like we just saw there. So something to be careful about, especially when you got 4 or 5 of them zipping at you. Different times of when they explode, so little tricky there, but we were totally fine. We were fine. What does Daniel say? I was never scared, right? I was never scared. I was never scared, whatever. If you were to take heavy crossbow with a tactics build instead of survival, there are a couple of other options that you can choose. The main one would be, and you could still take kill rhythm off color. It's not going to give you as much of a benefit as you would if you took it with a full loaded survival build there. You're probably only going to get like between 11 and 17% maybe is the differential there, like between 11 and 17% or whatever of speed, but still worth taking. It again, you know, it'll underperform compared to what we have now, but any little boost will help. And I'm not sure if the math actually checks out, but like the way that I think about attack speed is I think about DPS increase. So if you're attacking 11% more quickly, you are probably getting around 11% more damage, right? If that's how the timing or the speed boost is. So I think of that as like a little bit of a healthy increase, but or a damage increase, I should say. See, here we go. We got another loaded corridor with bats everywhere. But the main mutation that I would recommend if you choose to take heavy crossbow on a tactics build is point blank. Point blank, by default, it gives you, I think it's between a 30 and 33% increase on close ranged attacks. So like when you're right close to the enemy. It pairs great with heavy crossbow because, like you just saw there, that little hook, right? That little grappling hook, that little whatever you want to call it there, it pulls the enemies in closer to you. So it doesn't just kind of like stun them for a sec, it'll pull them in closer. So that plus point blank is going to help close that gap. You're going to get a ton of extra damage. I think by the end of the game, if you have like normal 4 or 5 EC scrolls, 30, 31, whatever it is, you're looking at like 60% extra damage from up close. It's crazy. It's crazy. And because heavy crossbow has a volley of arrows, each arrow is considered its own attack. So it's not like you shoot out 10 arrows and the game looks at that as one large attack. It looks at it as 10 small attacks. Which means that if your damage is jacked up enough, right? If you're loaded enough with DPS for however you choose to increase your damage, synergies, double quad damage, point blank, whatever it is, it's not going to hit the damage cap because instead of being one giant hit, it's going to be a bunch of little hits. So that's another great thing. And as we're finishing up, looks like I'm going to take Shark. Gonna grab those cells in solidarity with everyone who is grinding for cells, trying to max out your forge there. But yeah, that's what's up with the heavy crossbow. So I like it. It's a really good weapon. Hopefully that information is helpful if you do choose to take it. Again, taking acrobatic pack in the backpack is great. So that way you have an extra way to parry. So this is a fun one here. So I have not seen the movie. There's a movie or a series called Sharknado, which is so funny. But Evil Empire threw this in here as a Easter egg. If you throw the Maw of the Deep into Tornado, it will spit out sharks like that. I don't know if it does damage. I don't think I've done it on my own because Tornado's off color with survival, and I don't think I've had that experience or I've planned it, but it's a fun little Easter egg. So if you happen to have an off-color Tornado or an off-color Maw of the Deep, might be fun to try that out. So that's what I have to say about heavy crossbow. And another thing too, I feel like hopefully the pacing of this video is good for everyone. I'm realizing how much stuff I'm saying, but I'm hoping that it is. I'm trying to like slow down as I talk, so I'm not my usual. Get those ice shards, dude. Yeah, not my usual speed. chat. Right. So we took Maw of the Deep. We took ourselves the shark, Maw of the Deep. You know, the one I was just talking about, of course. Oh, looks like I missed. Looks like we missed a scroll fragment back there. We're gonna grab that. Put us up to 17. That's not bad. 17 scrolls, and we're gonna have. What does that end up being? Like 6,800. What are we looking at for health here? 6,200. So that ain't bad. That ain't. What is it? It's nothing to. Ain't nothing to shake a stick at, right? So we're in good shape there. Got that last scroll fragment. But we took Maw of the Deep, and I decided to grab that instead of Heavy Crossbow, because Heavy Crossbow would have been great against Conjunct. I could have rolled for a Stun Grenade, I could have rolled for a Wolf Trap, whatever it may have been. But I decided to take the Shark because, again, we're going for a quote-unquote traditional, normal, whatever sort of survival run. You'll see I think about throwables, and I decide against it. I should recycle it right now. I'm thinking about it, but I don't end up taking it because it is not, it's a little bit off of the normal, again, quote unquote, like heavy, slow, normal survival type thing. But we grab the shark, we grab ice shards. We're just going to continue through. I'm not going to change my mutations. I'm not going to change my affixes as we come into Conjunct here. Another reason I was reticent, is that the right word? Reticent, hesitant. I think reticent's the right word. We got smart people here. We got some smart ones out there. If reticent's the right word, let me know. I feel like I may have also said that in another video, but little hesitant when I was saying, maybe not putting these out back to back, because the routing is also a little bit similar. I know we did Conjunct. Both videos end with going to Dracula. I'm pretty sure they're both High Peak Castle into Dracula, so the routing was a little similar. But again, if we're going to compare and contrast here, y'all want to take a peek and just sort of see the difference between runs or whatever it is, there we go. But we go Conjunct in both videos, and I'm taking some hits here, but it's as you can see here, it doesn't matter as much. We got Necro going. I think we're getting about a % back with every kill. Every tentacle counts as a kill, which is great for things like stuff like this for Necro, but also what doesn't kill me, so you can parry each tentacle once to get the health back. And we took Conjunct out. We rooted her with the Maw of the Deep. The third attack will root. So we rooted her, got some good crits, and then we got ourselves a win. Did not get ourselves a flawless, got ourselves a win. Normally at this point, I would have gone to Graveyard because you can clear your melees quicker. It tends to be a faster biome in general. And I think it might have the same, or maybe one less scroll fragment than Sanctuary. I can't remember specifically, but I like going there for the timed door if I make it. It's like a, whatever it is, 21:30, I can't remember. So even though we cleared the time door by like 3 or 4 minutes, again, can't remember exactly what it is. Here we go, we got some more. We got ourselves a ton more bats here, right? Wow, that's a lot of bats coming up. Even though we cleared the time door, it was a curse biome. I talked about Dim Vigor at length earlier, so y'all know why it's such a great mutation in general, but especially for those curse biomes. But I did not want to change. I did not want to change what I have here. We have the same mutations we took into Ancient Sewers. We have Kill Rhythm, but now instead of our Heavy Crossbow being quicker, what's happening is that I'm using the Ice Shards, I'm using the Shark, so that way the I almost said alternation. Alternating between both of those is going to do the same thing. It's going to get the Shark's attack out faster. It's going to get the Ice Shards out faster. Ice Shards is a very good utility weapon. It's an amazing secondary. So being able to get those out quick, being able to get the Shark out quick is fantastic. So decided to keep those. That's what we took into Conjunct. So build wise, we're in very good shape. One of the things that I did not mention that you may have noticed if you were paying close attention to some of the noises and some of the kills in Ancient Sewers. I was gonna say I might try to do it here. We switched out Assault Shield for the Thunder Shield. You'll see it here. When you have Thunder Shield in the backpack, it gives you the AoE from parrying. So you have your little shock damage around you, so that way you can parry. Looks like it's either, with Acrobata Pack, it's either melee or ranged, which is great. I parried one of the ranged casters fireballs. The shock will stay around you, so you can run through bats. You can take them all out without any effort. You could see there again if you just want to rewind the past 20-30 seconds, whatever it is. You can see how well Thunder Shield did damage to all those little guys. Also proc shock damage, by the way. So if you're looking for that, it's a great one to take. And we come on. Is this our first curse? I can't remember. I know we did get cursed in the curse biome. Oh no, we did. I'm sorry. We did Corrupted Prison on our way here. But we pulled the Swift Sword. We pulled the Swift Sword out of the curse chest. I love Swift Sword. And if I'm remembering correctly, as I'm looking through this footage here and trying to recall what I was doing on my couch when I pulled this out, I think my initial thought was to use this for the curse, just because I really like Swift Sword. I knew I could get the speed boost here. Like you can hear there, it was doing the criticals from having my little speed boost there. Still getting the crits. And I think my initial thought was, hey, I'm going to grab this here. Let's roll with it for now, and then let's go back to the shark. But I actually ended up keeping it for a little while. So even though this is still, I keep saying it, even though it's a traditional, normal survival run, I did grab Swift Sword. It's a brutality weapon. I did not need to eat that. We have Necro. That was not necessary. Didn't need the melees. Didn't need the health. Even though it's a survival run, I love Swift Sword. And again, I figured I'd clear the curse with it, and I think I was just having fun. Similar to what I was saying about the shark with kill rhythm. It does great. You know, switching back and forth between those two items, and Swift Sword's way faster, so you're going to get even more of those. You're going to get more of those attacks out more quickly. You're going to get the ice shards out more quickly. So it's a really good pair. The good news, I promise, we're going to switch out of this fairly early in the next biome. And I have some good news. I have some good news for all of you bank fans out there. You know who you are. For everybody that loves bank and wants me to go to bank more, we actually take bank after Sanctuary here, which is great. I think we'll talk about it when we get there. The time of the run where bank showed up is fantastic, but we're going to get ourselves out of our Swift Sword here. And yeah, I think it was, if I'm remembering, it was a pretty decent bank. I think we did okay weapon wise. We did okay shop wise or whatever it is. So it worked out well, but we're coming up. We're going to do bank, but until then, we're still going to be rocking with the Swift Sword. I think we're almost done, right? We cleared out both arms of the Sanctuary. We'll take a look at a map here. We got some money we don't need. I think right here I'm thinking about going back to the shark, and I think I decided against it, right? Yeah, I decided against it. I said, what's the what's the point? I think that's what's up. I just figured, because we're rocking with the Swift Sword here, I think I just wanted to keep going. And I forget, I think we did Sepulcher. Is that what we're doing? I have no idea. Oh, I think we went to Cavern. That's what it was. I wanted to go to Cavern here because it's not something I normally do. Little bit out of the normal path. Usually I hit up Sepulcher. Sometimes I'll hit up Shores or Clock Tower. Not Cavern too much, actually, now that I'm kind of like thinking about it. But that was my initial plan. And of course, making plans is funny because they usually change or fall apart. So our plan changed here. It looks like I'm just kind of checking our affixes. A lot of poison there. I also wonder too, I don't want to give myself too much credit. I'm not that smart. I wonder if because the Swift Sword does poison, the enemy if I wanted to keep that, so that way we'd get more poison stacks more quickly with kill rhythm and do some good dot. Cluster Grenade and Death Orb, I think also both had, I want to say that they both had plus 80 to poison on it too, so maybe it was coincidence or maybe I actually planned it out. Who knows? Who knows? But either way, we're still rocking the Swift Sword and we're hitting up Bank. We're hitting up Bank. So I got a lot to say about Bank. I lucked out here. So in my opinion, this is the perfect tier to take Bank at. So if you see Bank instead of this level of biomes, right? So Clock Tower, Forgotten Sepulchre, Cavern, Undying Shores. If you see it here, it's worth taking. Bank will scale with the best biome of that tier. So I think Sepulchre has maybe like level 10. Oh geez, we're already aggroing the giant Gold Gorger elite. But because we had Ice Shards and it slowed him down and we had kill rhythm to get him out faster, that actually went very well. That went very well. So Bank is going to scroll, excuse me, not scroll, what did I just say? Scale. Scale, scroll, same thing, right? Bank is going to scale based on the highest tier biome of that list. So, like I was saying, Forgotten Sepulchre has, oh, we got 2 of these guys, huh? Jeez. Sepulchre has whatever it is, level 10, I think it is, level 10, level 11, same thing with Clock Tower. Same thing with Shrines, but Cavern has level 12 gear, which is the highest level gear that you can get naturally. You get it in Cavern, and you also get it in the 5BC biome. So since we're taking this at that tier, we are going to get level 12 gear by default. Every bank is guaranteed to have 1 Mimic. It's guaranteed to have 1 Mimic, so it could be one of the normal shops, right? Skill or weapon shops, or it could be the food shop. So you have a 66% chance, you have a 1/3 chance to get a Mimic here, which will bump up your item quality by 2. So that means that if you come here at this tier and you are able to get a Mimic in one of the shops that is not a food shop, you're going to leave here with level 14 gear, which is quite good. It's quite good. The highest you can get is level 15 gear. You can only get that if you take a Cursed Cavern and there's a Mimic in the shop. So speaking of, I'm like, let me switch up this Swift Sword. We're going to grab this Seismic Strike. Seismic Strike is okay, but I wanted to grab it, and we got us, look at this, a level 14. Level 14 Seismic Strike, which is fantastic. Again, we're looking at two gear levels higher than what you would normally max out at. And like I was saying, if you happen to find a Cursed Cavern and you get a Mimic in there, the Mimic is going to bump it up 2, and then the Curse level is going to bump it up 1, so there is a chance for you to get a level 15 item. I think it's only happened once or twice. I got a level 15 Indulgence, and I don't know if I still have the screenshot. If I do, I'll throw it up here real quick just so you can see it. But 14 is the second highest gear level that you can get. So very lucky. This run is, I feel like I've had really good luck in some of my runs lately. But this run is very lucky. We have a Philosopher's Stone. We got, I think, 3 challenge rifts, right? 3 or 4 challenge rifts, whatever it is. And we got perfect bank. Like, I genuinely feel like this is the perfect time to take bank. And also the enemies are not terrible here. The Arbiters aren't great, but a lot of these other enemies are more manageable compared to other tiers. If you take it during the Prison Depths one, or I think also the Ancient Sewers / Ramparts tier, I think I take a lot of damage here. I'm pretty sure we get wrecked a little bit here. Not run ending, of course, but I do think we take, yeah, you can see here, we're taking some big hits, but between our big HP and Necro, doesn't matter that much. But enemies. So we're not looking at too many. Like, yeah, the mummies are tough, right? Those are tricky. But dark trackers aren't bad, in my opinion. Demons aren't too bad. You got to watch out for the arbiters there. But coming in during Stilt Village tier, not great. You get the Pyre Captains. There's a lot of stuff there. And I also don't recommend taking bank early. So on the other side of that, right, we're looking again. This is my opinion. This is perfect bank. If you take bank after Prisoner's Quarters, the scaling is the opposite. It is so difficult. The bank outscales you by a lot, in my opinion. So not recommended unless you're doing a challenge run where you have to take bank. I know V did that at, can't remember specifically which challenge it was. It might have been when he was doing his 20 or whatever BC. I'm using air quotes here because he sort of made his own difficulty where, after he beat 5 BC, it would be like, you have to take bank. And then it was like, you can only have 3 healing pots or whatever it is. So I remember he did that. So if you're doing a challenge run like that, go for it. Bank is not really worth taking that early. In the other biomes, so like it may be worth taking, again, even though the enemies are a little tougher, maybe worth taking during that 3rd tier, whatever, Ancient Sewers, Ramparts, Morass of the Banished might be worth there. Not worth taking for the optional biome because you don't get any scrolls. And again, you have not scaled to a point where the bank is going to be, I almost used the word comfortable. I'm going to say comfortable. Bank is never comfortable, but it is more, it is less comfortable if you take it at that tier. So scaling's not great. And also, again, having only 1 scroll from the curse chests in here if you take this instead of Prison Depths or Corrupt Prison, definitely not worth it. And there's also a bug if you take it at that Stilt Village Slumbering Sanctuary tier after the first boss. It scales with the Stilt Village level, so it doesn't do what we're doing here. It doesn't scale all the way to the best level, and Stilt Village I think is the weakest tier of that tier of biomes, or the weakest biome of that tier. So you're actually going to get less scroll fragments, and I don't know if it's 1 less scroll or not, but item quality is going to be a little lower, and you're at least going to get less scroll fragments. So also not recommended. I'm just telling you all the reasons why you should not take bank, right? It's like, don't take bank unless you get it instead of Cavern, right? But no, I'm just saying, like, those are, if you're trying to optimize or whatever it is, this is the best time to take it. But like, yeah, if you want to take it instead of Stilt Village and you don't care about 1 less scroll fragment, then who cares? Who cares, right? If it was in this run and and this popped up before, instead of Slumbering Sanctuary, I would have been like, okay, because even though it scrolls a little bit less, I keep saying scrolls. Even though it scales a little bit less, we have those extra scrolls, right? So you kind of like, what is it? Half dozen, 50, what is it? 6 of one, half dozen of the other, whatever it is. So use your judgment, but again, if you're just trying to optimize, this is the bank to take. This is the bank to take. And I'm pretty sure I get rocked here on the same, here's one, right? I'm pretty sure I get rocked 3 times in a row, or twice in a row here. I don't know why. I'm attempting this challenge rift. So at the end of this, you get a colorless item, you get a bunch of gold, and if it's your first time going through, you get, I think it's the gentleman's outfit. It's the gold suit with the top hat, which is a super sick outfit. But after that, you don't need to take this. If you're, oh boy, that was close. If you're looking for a colorless thing or colorless item to, top off the build, great. If you're looking for more money, great. But it's not necessary to come in here after doing this the first time. You don't get any extra scrolls, you don't get extra fragments, whatever it is. But for some reason, I guess I wanted to take it. Usually at this point too, Explorer's Instinct proc, so you can see the nobody needs a colorless explosive decoy. I didn't even recycle it. The amount of disrespect I just showed to that decoy is that's so bad. Oh man. But again, you don't have to grab that challenge rift unless you want to. But get the outfit, if you want a colorless item or whatever it is, grab it, grab some extra money, and we're good. We're good, right? So we had a little bit of a mess here and there between those. I don't even think I'm gonna look at skills. I probably should. If I were playing this now, I would want to grab big food, which it looks like I'm doing. And I would also hit up the skill shop to see if I could grab something to replace the grappling hook, which I really haven't been doing much with. I think that might be what I'm trying to do here, is pop up to that. Am I just going to bounce? I guess I'm just going to bounce. I guess my grappling hook up. Come on. Come on, bro. There we go. I was going to say, come on. I love how I talk to myself in the past and I call myself bro. I'm like, come on, bro. So we're going to roll. We're going to roll in the skill shop. And then I think we're going to take Scarecrow. I think we're going to take Scarecrow after this one. So that'll be good. Again, I think we took Scarecrow in our last video too. I pick up the Scavenge Bombard. There was another one there that also had Toxic Cloud and Poison. I remember looking at that and being super bummed after I instinctively recycled it, or I should say re-rolled the shop. But we got ourselves another one that I think had the same affixes. Might be worth going back and just taking a quick peek. But we did okay. We did okay. So we're heading out of here. We switched 3 of our 5 items. So we have our main item is different, right? We have ourselves our Seismic Strike instead of the... we came in here with what? The Swift Sword. We ditched the grappling hook. We ditched the... I think it was Death Orb or Cluster Grenade. I can't remember. We ditched all that stuff, and we're leaving here with 2 new skills and a new level 14 main weapon. So we're in good shape. We're in good shape here. Even though we're in good shape, I'm looking at 18, almost 19,000 health. That's very good. That's like end game good as far as survival build. That's fantastic. My opinion, of course. I feel like Daniel would know better. He knows scrolls and health way better than I do. I just grab stuff. I just grab whatever it is. But I took disengagement here just in case, you know, again, we're having a really good run. Scarecrow fights can get nasty. They can get nasty really quickly. They can get nasty really, really quickly here. So decided to take disengagement as well as recovery. So that way, if I do take a big hit, I'll have 3 times as much time to get my rally back. So you can see there between recovery, let's take a look. I do take another hit, I think. Yeah, so you can see there, my recovery came back really quickly. Didn't get a flawless, but we got ourselves a pretty quick win here. I also took Blind Faith, so that way I could parry to get my skills cooldown. I think at this point, you know, we're at 6 seconds of cooldown or something at this point, but didn't really need it. I think we parried once or twice, and we're rolling out of here, and we're in really good shape. We're in really good shape. So again, I'm pretty sure we do high peak to Dracula instead of Dracula's castle to Dracula here. Sad face walking by the flawless door, not re-rolling anything. I decided to keep my Seismic Strike affix. It has plus 40% damage, which is not plus 80, which would have been nice if we decided to get Poison Synergy, but I just decided to keep it. I can't remember what else we had on there. And I remember at this point I was thinking like, all right, let's do Distillery, right? So we're taking Masochist, that mutation I mentioned earlier, so that way we have trap damage capped at 10%. We're taking Necro, so that way we can have extra health, and I decided to take Soldier's Resistance for more health, or I should say extra healing from Necromancy. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, let's go. And then I'm like, nah, man, I think I want to go Dracula. Again, this was the first of the 2 survival runs that I had recorded, so this was technically the first time that I decided to go to Dracula here. So I said, let's do it. Let's do it. So we're hitting up high peak, and then we're going to go through to Dracula. Got ourselves a really nice kit. I can't remember. I do think that we switch out our main weapon at some point, but that is left to be seen here. And it's like a funny continuation's not the right word, but to sort of go along with the theme that I had in a couple videos ago about noise outside. It is, I'm recording this on the same day of the week as I recorded that video where the trash truck was going on and there were birds chirping. We have landscaping today. Again, I did not learn my lesson. What time is it here? Where are we at? We're a little bit after 2 p.m. during the day. Obviously, that's what PM means. We're looking at early afternoon, which is when people tend to do stuff. So I heard from a bunch of folks and they were like, hey, I can't hear the trash truck. I can't hear the birds. So hopefully you also cannot hear the landscaping. So there it is. If you hear it, I'm sorry. If you don't hear it, then fantastic. Then whatever. I just wanted to mention it because I can hear it through my headphones, and I'm just like, oh man, I did not learn my lesson. I did not learn my lesson. I tried to tell myself last time to not record during the day, but here we are. I had good vibes today. I definitely wanted to get this one out. Hoping it doesn't matter for my own benefit. I'm going to try to get this out tomorrow, which is going to be today for you, or in the future for you, right? But I wanted to rock this. We got some fun art in High Peak Castle, and if we go back here, I think I'm going to go back. Yeah, we got ourselves the fisherman. I got the fisherman's hood, right? It's like a little school portrait right at the end of your school year in primary or secondary school or whatever it is. You you get your picture taken. That's what that is. And it's fun too. So I think for the fisherman's head, you need to unlock most, if not all, of the other heads. I want to say this is one of the last ones that you get. And it's actually a really cool reference. So most of you folks are probably going to recognize this. If you have the Queen and the Sea DLC, you will recognize it as the dude that you get the key from, right? Or you get the letter from for Stilt Village or whatever it is. And he's the one that will take you over to the shipwreck. I almost call it the Undying Shipwreck. And then the Dilapidated Shipwreck. Infested Shipwreck, that's what it's called. But also, back in the early access days, when the game was not finished, you would only get to a certain point. And I remember there was a point, I had not played it at this point, I had watched other folks play it. But you'd beat Conjunct, and then you would get to a area where it was like, hey, more's coming soon. And that would be the guy. The guy would just be chilling at the end of the pier. So the fisherman's head, or hood, or whatever it's called, that is a long-standing reference. So props to Evil Empire for digging that one out. And again, most of you folks will probably know that from the ship from Queen of the Sea, but there it is. So let's talk about High Peak. How's it been going? It's been going decent. It's been going fairly decent. We have ourselves 23 kills, which is not 60. We're grabbing double Simlance here. Simlance is another great survival item. It's one of my favorites. You know, I had mentioned this before. It does have a strictly horizontal plane of attack, so it's a little bit tough for, you know, if we were to fight those bats in Slumbering Sanctuary or whatever it might be. But it's great. I think I'm also going to take Bible here. Are we going to get rid of? Yeah, we're going to get rid of our level 14 Seismic Strike. It did us very well. Did us super well. But I did want to showcase some other heavy survival items here. But I think Simlance is great. It will do criticals on enemies if you kill 2 enemies in a short period of time. And there's plenty of opportunities to do that. I've said this a 1,000 times, you know. Rats are the best example. You know, prisoners' quarters, sewers, graveyard, whatever. You can kill those very quickly. In the ossuary, the corpse juices, which are the little yellow bugs that get spit out by the spawners, like those test tube things. If you kill 2 of those, they will count for Simlance crits, even though they don't count as enemies you can kill for curse. So you can get your double kills fairly easily most of the time. And the fact that we have double damage here is also quite good. I love double damage in general. I love Simlance, so we're for me this is a dream come true. It's a dream come true. But we're taking it towards the end. Here, so I'm just wrapping up. I'm going to grab the rest of these key doors here, right? So I already got the red one. We're going for the blue one here. What I like to do is I'll do one of 2 things, and I feel like this might be helpful for folks because, you know, if you come through High Peak Castle, you immediately go through the kill doors. You go from one side to the other. So you can see here as I'm going through, we're going to exit out of a different door, or I should say we could. One of the 2 things I do is either I will wait until the very end to go through the key doors, which is what I'm doing here, because I want to see what's coming up. I want to see what is in the levels. I want to get my bearings so that way when I do go into the main castle, I'm not getting kind of tossed around the map where things aren't filled out. And when I do this, I do like to prioritize the door that is closest to the exit, so that way I can just grab the last key and bounce here. The other thing that I recommend doing too is you could take them as you see them, but leave through the door that you came into the key room from. So I'm going to do that here. You'll see that I'm gonna take this, take out the spiny. I'm gonna look down. I'm gonna pop right out, so that way I know where I am. That's another way you can do it. You might have to think about which enemies you've killed, which color key doors you've been through, but in that respect, yeah, I'm gonna take one more quick look here. Don't really care about anything. That scroll fragment's not going to help us because we need 2. There's only 1 left. But those are the 2 things you could do. If you like going out there and just randomly hopping through doors, then great. Have fun. Genuinely, that sounded so sarcastic, but I mean it. Have fun with it. But if you're looking for a different type, or maybe you want to kind of like streamline your navigation, that might be a good thing you can try out too. So we grabbed Gold Digger. This is going to be our final build. I don't remember if we reroll any affixes because we have poison from the Gold Digger. We have poison from the Scavenge Bombard. Oh, actually, we are. I remember this. We are gonna reroll the Giant Whistle here, looking for poison, but we get my favorite. We get double damage, so I'm just gonna roll. We're gonna keep everything we have here, I think. And let's see what we got for mutations. I'm fairly certain I'm going to take Recovery, Disengagement, and maybe Soldier's Resistance just for safety here. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Not a lot of extra damage stuff. I could have taken Support for the Scavenge Bombard. I have no idea why I was doing that little dance there. Could have taken Support for the Scavenge Bombard. Maybe a couple of other mutations I could have taken there. Gold Plating would have been a good one. So as I took damage, I could have lost gold instead of health because I still have 66,000 gold after I spent a bunch, and because of that Philosopher's Stone. Which is funny because if you think about it, if you do the math, here's the build, by the way. That's our final build. We got some poison synergy. We have double damage Giant Whistle. So if you think about it, I actually only spent $10,000 or $9,000 more because of the Philosopher's Stone, because we had 75,000 extra and we're ending with 66,000. So even though we got lucky, I didn't burn as much cash as I could have. So there we are. So here we are, right? We got our first phase Dracula. It's going pretty well. Love first phase Dracula. I think it's a really fun fight. Patterns are good. I feel like there's enough depth to the fight where there's a lot of things to learn, but it's not so crazy or unpredictable, so that way it's like super challenging. But that was a fairly successful first phase. Again, we're looking at what, 36,000, 37,000 health. We are good with Soldier's Resistance, we're good with Recovery, and we also have Disengagement in case of an emergency. So we went 100% safety here. Again, no extra damage boosts. Yeah, you can see there we take a big hit. Recovery, we're gonna get a lot of that back. But like I had said on the way in here, chose not to take support. Decided to go just pure safety here. We have 4 flasks. We have tons of health. We're fine here. We're fine. So now we're making our way through second phase Dracula. Sloppy fight. I should drink here. There we go. It's a sloppy fight, but hey, like I said, we are protected to the hilt here, so there's not a ton of concern. So it's a little bit sloppy. Dracula 2, as I'm sure a bunch of you know, it's my least favorite boss fight. I've been practicing a little bit here and there, trying to go out of my way to get more used to this fight. Learn the patterns more outside of the things that I know, kind of fight through that high health cap, I guess you could say, or high HP. Letting them slam us around, totally fine here. But like I said, yeah, just trying to get a little bit more experience here, trying not to shut this fight out as much as I normally have. And we're almost done. We're almost done after many crits from the Gold Digger, after a couple of big double damage Giant Whistle hits. We make our way through. We take Dracula out right as he summons his minions. Right as he summons his enemies at the very end of the fight. But there it is. So we have ourselves another successful run. I don't think I've posted a run where I've died at the end lately, so I guess that's a good sign. But we have ourselves another successful run. we got ourselves some good contrast between this regular survival run and our green tactics run that we threw together for the last video. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Again, compare and contrast might be like a fun thing to do if you want to check out both videos, but hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for your time, of course. And as always, thanks for watching, and good luck out.